Alright guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Maya Konuche. Okay, in today's Love Bible series, we are going to talk about issues that I felt on breakup, heartbreaks and the traumas that normally comes with it. Okay, so what is really heartbreak like? What does heartbreak mean? It's a common term to those of us who majors in relationship and sex therapy. Okay, so heartbreak is simply when two partners decided to break up. The outcome of the breakup is what we call heartbreak. There is always a heartbreak after a breakup, except the other person in the relationship was not being truthful to themselves. So if the two persons that broke up were truly in love with themselves before the breakup, there must be heartbreaks, there must be pain, there must be trauma that they must pass through, except it is the other way around. So today we are going to talk about how to get over a breakup. How to get over a heartbreak rather. How do one get over a heartbreak? So that is what we are going to be discussing for today. First of all, let me just start by letting us understand this. Heartbreak is like it's a very difficult thing when it comes to a relationship. Heartbreak is very difficult thing to deal with. It's like when you're talking about moving vehicles like machine as motorcycle, normal vehicle, car. When you're talking about learning how to drive them, survey have concluded that it is more difficult to learn how to ride a bicycle than driving a car. Okay, so heartbreak, it is always difficult dealing with a heartbreak. It is always difficult dealing with a heartbreak than falling in love itself. Okay, so today we are going to talk about few steps that one can consider if he or she, if they really want to get over a heartbreak. Okay, according to a psychologist in New York City of US, Rebecca Hendricks, she has so many things to talk about this heartbreak. She said that heartbreak, is a trauma. Okay, when somebody have a heartbreak, to them it's at a point it seems that so many things have gone wrong, that gonna be the end of their lives. That they're not gonna recover again from the shock, because it's like a shock. It's shock. It shocking them, like it shocks them. To see that this special one, this person who was all over you, this special person who was so kind, so good to you, so close to your heart, who you always talk about, you speak to your friends, your family about them. Now they are no longer there. That boundary, that bond is no longer there. It's always traumatic. It comes with a whole lot of trauma and shock that if one doesn't, if it is not handled carefully, it has the capacity and the sagacity to take one's life. Okay, so today, according to psychologists, we are going to look into few steps or few things that one need to know or one need to do in order to overcome heartbreak. We have what one we call allowing yourself to feel your feelings. Okay, when you have a heartbreak, when you after separation you have a heartbreak whatsoever, there is every need for you to allow yourself to cry. You have that right to cry as many times as possible, to cry as for a very long time. Psychologists, they place a boundary of 60 days. That 60 days doesn't really mean that you will have to cry for that 60 days, but at least you give yourself at least 60 days to start before you can start talking about any other relationship or whatsoever. So when you now cry, you pour anything you can do to make yourself get worked up, to make yourself feel bad about the whole circumstances, that will make you cry out your mind, cry out all the emotions in you. According to psychologists, Rebecca Hendricks, when you cry, the more you cry, the more tears you drop, the feelings, that hormone that bonds you and that your partner together is leaving your heart gradually. So that is the essence of crying tears out, bonding your heart, so that they will live. Okay, so when you cry, you should try to know the limit too. that you can cry. Before you started crying or starting feeling bad about the whole situation, you have to there is need for timing. Like you have to give yourself time frame. This is the time I'm going to talk about this thing. You occupy your mind with this stuff, you talk about it, you feel bad about it. Then when that time is over, you stop and start occupying your heart with some other things. Okay, in the days following breakup, allow yourself to cry and acknowledge that a breakup is like every other loss. Breakup is just like it comes in so many stages of denial, you know, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. When you are crying about a breakup, you will start thinking, so I was rejected. You have this thought of rejection. I wasn't accepted. Stuff like that. So it's just like when somebody is dead. Okay, even dead person, when you lose a loved one, you don't cry forever. There are days like when somebody died today, you will cry for that day, that week, and you start comforting yourself. You will not try to cry again the day of the burial, depending on the tradition of your place. Okay, if you are from the eastern Africa, from the Western Africa rather, eastern part of Nigeria, for instance, where I'm coming from. When someone dies, you cry that day. When the person is taken to the mortuary, to the morgue, okay, after few days, you start giving yourself comfort again. You can only cry again the day of the burial. So that is why it is very, very important that when somebody is no longer in your life, you try to avoid them totally. Trying to go back again can be disastrous, like the day of the burial of your loved ones. Okay, so you give that time and cry about it. After that, you end up. So the next one we have is, but don't become your feelings. You have every right to feel bad that you lose your loved one to separation, breakup, whatever. You have every right to feel bad about it. But what you don't have right about is to allow the feelings emanating from the loss, the feelings emanating from the breakup to now become part of you. That is the only thing you don't have right over. Okay? If such thing wants to happen to you, you have every right to reject it. You have every right to say, no, come on, it doesn't worth it. Okay, yes, it's very, very difficult, especially when you truly love the people. If you truly love them and the breakup comes, yes, it really hurts. But you won't allow the hurt, and the trauma to not get over you. Okay, you try to deal with it. You try to give yourself that comfort. Even if every other person rejects you, you don't have right to reject yourself. You may have reasons to, but you don't have right to. There might be reasons for you to feel like you are rejected. No, you are not good enough for them. You aren't good enough for a relationship to last, or stuff like that. But you should also look well beside you too. There are good things about you. Okay, so you now have to take consolation in those good things about you. So you won't allow definitely the way you feel about the breakup now to weigh you down. So you have right, after feeling bad, stuff like that, now you have every right to maintain and then talk to yourself, give yourself that comfort you deserve. And that is the only way to be free. Another one is cutting off communication. According to Headrest, when you lose a relationship, like when you have a heartbreak, a breakup rather, you know, there is always this feeling of, I am missing them. Should I call them? But mind you, according to psychologist Rebecca, they say that it is not also wrong. Maybe from time to time you can just check up. Hi, what's up? How you doing? Can we talk for a minute? You just talk about normal life. You go your way. It's not bad though. But when it becomes bad is when it is becoming a habit for you. Okay. When hi, can we talk for a minute becomes now a habit, it's time for you to end even that mini communication with your ex. It is not always good. If you really want to heal from a breakup, if you really want to heal from a heartbreak, if you really want to get freedom, you want to set yourself free from the shackles of a previous relationship, there is every need to cut off every communication about you and your loved one. There is a scientific reason why heartbreak is traumatic. There is a scientific reason why heartbreak is hurting. There is a scientific reason why heartbreak is not always good. Why heartbreak is not always favorable for anybody. So those scientific reasons are those things that you should look very well to know before you can consider communicating with them, even at the minimal stage of communication. Okay, so when your partner is no longer there, you start to crave for these feeling hormones that you normally have previously with them. Okay, at this stage, that is a temptation stage. When you start craving for those feelings you guys normally have before, cut it off. You should avoid everything possible. You should avoid everything possible meeting your ex face to face, especially at the early stages of breakup. If at the early stages of breakup, early stages of that heartbreak you suffered, this feeling, this strong hormonal feeling now comes up. You now didn't reject it. You now try to see them, to meet, sit with them and talk. There is 100% tendency that those feelings you do have for them previously will still resurface again. And at this stage now, it is going to take you months, probably years, to come out of the feelings that are going to be associated with meeting them face to face. So there is every need that you cut off from your partner anytime you think that you are no longer in that relationship. That is why we Mendy promotes what we call 60 days S daughters. Within that 60 days, you try as much as possible to avoid them. You try as much as possible to avoid even talking to opposite sex about love, relationship, whatever, blah blah blah. Just try to avoid it, because the issue is that within this period, if you try to venture into a new relationship, except while you were dating your ex, you were double dating, that you have, like, you have this person already within you. Okay, you were considering him already within you. Now when your ex walks away, it was now the full opportunity for you to grab that person. But if situation like that is not in existence, like you weren't having anybody in place before, you weren't having any third party relationship by the side before, maybe waiting for time to strike, it is not always advisable to venture into a new relationship immediately you left your previous relationship. Because one, going into a new relationship days, months after leaving your ex relationship, there is every tendency that you are going there straight for comfort. You are going there straight to get consolation. You are not going there actually to love. You are not going there actually because you really want a relationship. You are going there to get a consolation, someone you can talk to, no, something that can make you forget, something that can make you forget your exes and all that. Okay, so it's not always right, it's not always advisable to venture straight into a new relationship months and weeks and days after leaving your previous relationship. Okay, so there is another one they talk about, to find a support system. Okay, when you have a heartbreak, like if you break up from a relationship, okay, it is advisable, Henry is advised that you get to talk, you get a support system. There are people that you normally respect, like people you that are so dear to you. It is not always bad if you engage them, like you engage them and make them understand, see, I am going through a lot, look at what happened, I lost my relationship, see, I need you now. You can get up to 2 3 4 to 5 persons that are close to you, that will not use it against you tomorrow. Get them, communicate with them. Sometimes maybe random phone calls, random chat can be an also easy way to forget a broken relationship, to forget a heart, to get over a heartbreak. Okay, so there is this need for you to get a support system. Okay, for you to get a support system will help you to get over certain things that might be bothering your head, certain things that might be, trying to fill your heart, trying to make you feel rejected, trying to bring this kind of, creating that vacuum, that rejection vacuum inside you. So having people to communicate with, not just people, supportive people to communicate with, will go a long way to help you to get over situations like that. Okay, according to Franklin A. Posa, PhD in clinical psychologist in New York, opening up to people after your breakup is very, very advisable. It is very, very advisable that you open up to people after your breakup. Okay, you don't that instant. Yeah, people might be seeing you. Maybe somebody that knows you very well might start to have this feeling that, come on, this guy is not feeling okay. He's not feeling right, but they don't really know what is wrong with you, so they can't come in. Sometimes they might try to come in, they don't know how to come in. Sometimes they can even intrude into your private life. It will become a problem between you and them. So in situations like that, you open up to them. It is when you open up to them now that they will now try to know where to offer you help from. They cannot just imagine things in their heads. By now he's having this, by now this is happening, by now this is this. No, they can't just imagine it. Okay, they can't just have that feeling. So you have to first of all talk to them. You have to first of all, make them understand that this is what you are passing through. Okay, when you talk with people, you don't keep heartbreak issues secretive. That is why you hear in New York a lot of suicide cases. Somebody will have a relationship crisis and a heartbreak. That is dealing with them so strong. They will try to keep it within themselves. Okay, they will try, except it is a broken relationship that has had so many bad issues before, like there was no longer love there before the heartbreak. Okay, it may not really get to the guys. Maybe you guys have broken up inside you 6 months back. Okay, you just decided to make it official, let everybody go. So by that time the love is already dead. But if it is when the love is already at the top of the relationship and you had that breakup, it is advisable that you talk to people around you, people that are close to you. They can always be supportive to you in situations like that. We have the one we call exercise. Exercise also help. According to Hota, the endorphins produced during exercise go a long way to help in the withdrawal symptom of post-breakup series. Okay, there's what we call endorphins. Anybody in health should know about that. That is always produced during exercise. Okay, there is what we call post breakup era. After breakup, there are some feelings, there are some symptoms that need to leave your body. Okay, for instance, if on Fridays you normally go to the cinema to watch drama, to watch movies, or you normally go to clubbing together, no, there is need now for you now to start changing your routine. Okay, if on Fridays you will not remember, by now we're supposed to go to cinema, so Friday you should now put plans ahead of that Friday to occupy it. Maybe you can decide to maybe contact few of your friends. Guys, see, we'll be playing snooker by on Friday by 6. Hey guys, we'll be doing this for Friday. So that Friday will not be vacant, like the Friday will not be free, because when that Friday is free for you, that is the only time that you will now try to remember what you normally do with your ex and all that. Okay, so exercise also help. Exercise help you. Once you are sweating, it helps you to forget certain things. It helps to kill some love hormones in you that makes you crave for the presence of your ex partner. Okay, so we also have this other one help. Okay, according to Headrace too, while talking about all these things, you should also try to remember what's talked. Did you hear me? Try to remember what's talked. What was the reason for the breakup? What really happened? Why did we got broken up? Broken up? What happened? You know, every relationship, no matter how bad, no matter how damaging it was, no matter how sad it ended, there was also a good thing about it. Now, those good things about your relationship before it ended, you have to look beyond them. Go deep and now look into what really happened. Where did we get it wrong? Those things, those circumstances, those negative factors that contributed to the, what is it called, to the breaking up. You have to critically evaluate them and know if really those faults were from you or from your partner. If those faults were really from you, Now you have to talk to yourself before venturing into a new relationship. You have to talk to yourself and now know how to get over those negative factors so that you will not take it to a new one and it will also become an issue for you. And it is also advisable that those negative factors that ended your relationship, should you try your best to to handle them, you couldn't handle them. There is a need for you to meet a therapist who majors in relationship. In situations like that, you meet a therapist, you have to consult an expert to help you to change those negative factors that ended your previous relationship. Okay, so relationship that ends is not that don't take it as if you were not good enough for them. It might also be that them themselves, they weren't good enough for you too. It ended. So it can be two ways. It can be what it is. So don't always try to make yourself feel like you weren't good enough, like you were a bad person, like you weren't lovable, that you didn't deserve love, you didn't deserve to be in a relationship. No, don't develop that feeling at all. Just critically check, outline, take your time, go through what really transpired, what happened before a breakup, how did I get it wrong, how did I get it right? The areas you got it right, you keep them, you shake yourself. Then the areas you think you got them wrong, okay, you also try to analyze them side by side and then try to work toward them. That is why you don't just end up a relationship and you start labeling the relationship as the worst thing you have seen in your life and all these things. Some persons will end the relationship today. They will try to tell you how the relationship was the worst thing that have happened to them, stuff them like that. No, it shouldn't be. Because there was something that were also good about the relationship. No matter how bad and how tragic it ended, there were things that were also good previously before the end time, before the sad later days of the relationship. Okay. So a common response of post breakup is to idealize the other persons according to Hendricks. And while you don't want to deny that they were a good part of your relationship, you don't want to fixate on them. Those good things should be. Because if they were good enough to, they should have been able to sustain your relationship. Now, let me also tell you this. Today, we are having a lot of breakups in our relationships today. Not really because people don't really know what they are doing. We are having breakups today, especially in the western part of Africa and the Eastern Europe. We are having many breakups today because a lot of persons, they dwell in the past, they dwell in their previous relationships, the things they got wrong, then they still bring it back to their new relationship, also frustrating the new one with those negative factors that affected the previous one. That is why it is very very important that whenever you had a broken relationship, you should try and know what stuck. Try to know what happened, what really happened. I have had three broken relationships, I have had three, I have had four, I have had six. What was the cause of all those breakups? You try to analyze them, place them side by side, and see if the thing that got the first one broken up, if it is also the thing that got the second one broken up, if it's also the one that got the third one broken, then you will now have to know that the faults are coming from you. But if you have looked around and you see that you have had two, three, four breakups and they are not coming from you, you also have to re-examine yourself and reassess your emotional life and know if really you are living up to what you should live up to. It's as common as that. Okay, it's as common as that. So before you venture into a relationship, you should also try to know the past relationship history of somebody you are going to deal with. Some persons have been so traumatized, they have gotten it wrong that to the extent that they no longer believe in love again, they no longer believe in healthy relationship again. Even when you come up to them with the most sincere of a relationship, trying to do everything possible as you can do to make sure that you love them the way human beings should love, they will not believe you, they will not accept you, they will frustrate that relationship because a lot of them have been traumatized. They are carrying a lot of trauma in them that they no longer know if you are really real or fake. That is one thing about this relationship of a thing. So before you venture the relationship, there is every need for you to know the relationship history of your new partner. Know their relationship history, know their past, so you can know how to deal with them. Okay, if their past relationship, maybe their partner, maybe they weren't always checking on them, they don't call them on phone, you should make sure that you have entered an accord where you are always supposed to be calling, to check up on them. If their partner, their previous relationship, they weren't taken care of, they didn't have that supportiveness, that support from their ex partner, you now have to understand that you have entered into an accord where you are being expected to care for somebody, to show that care, love and affection for somebody. It's as simple as that. Okay, so you don't have to keep secret your past relationship history, because the history of your past relationship will go a long way to help your new relationship to thrive. It's as simple as that. Okay, so when you have a heartbreak, you should try as much as possible to make sure that it didn't destroy your future. Some persons, they normally allow, their past relationship history to determine what their future will be. When you are into a new relationship, just follow that new one, deal with it as it is. Don't talk about the past, don't talk about the future, talk about the present. It is the present that is going to give birth to the future. The future cannot decide itself. It is from present is the bedrock, it is the foundation, it is the foundational fountain of that future of that your relationship. Okay, so you have every right to be happy, have every right to do whatever you have to do to make sure your relationship lasts. It is always a bad signal to have numerous breakups. It is always a bad signal, because we say it doesn't matter, you've had 4 or 5 breaking relationships, it's a very bad record. Okay, it's a very bad record to do that. So you try as much as you can to do everything possible within your power to make sure that you sustain your relationship. Sustenance of a relationship is not in one person's it's not what is it called, the duty of one person. It is the duty of the two persons in a relationship to sustain their relationship. Okay, so now dear listeners, I want to thank us today for coming on board to listen to us. Hopefully tomorrow we are going to have I'm going to have a guest speaker on our Love Bible series tomorrow, who will be talking about the health benefit of relationship, like what it takes, the health aspects of sustaining a relationship. Because so many of us today have lost our relationship because of a lot of dirtiness, poor hygiene, and all that. So tomorrow, by the grace of God, if life God tarries, we are gonna have a class where we'll be having a medic who will be taking us on personal hygiene, on how to sustain a relationship. I want to thank you all for having your time to listen to us and to be with us today. So always thank you all. We are a few subscribers away from 1,000 subscribers. Okay, please, I dare urge us to always share and like and comment on our contents. Share and like our contents. Share to your friends, to your colleagues, to your partners, so that they can subscribe also and be watching from our content. Very soon we hope to hit a 1,000 subscriber target for now. So for all my subscribers who have made that possible for now, I say very big kudos to you all, and we promise to be always serving you guys as it should be. We will be here again probably tomorrow. Thank you for having your time with us. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Akonuche Relationship Talk. While subscribing, also press the notification button so that you get all our contents. Thank you and God bless you. Thank you.